Greetings and welcome to Let's Play Surtech. No, wait. Presents an epic entertainment software production in cooperation with Fantasy Productions. Get on with it. Realms of Arkania. Oh! Based on the pen programmer Schmidt und Spiel Freizeit GmbH. This is a German company. Part 1 of the Northern Reaches trilogy. Snazzy intro. Blade of Destiny. Ooh. Is that an intro? There's an intro. Awesome. Intro? Thank you. Like this jumping. Thorval, City of the Free, one of the oldest settlements in all of Arkania, populated with indomitable warriors and seafarers, rich in treasures from innumerable forays. Get on with it. Yes? Ah, pointy, pointy, point. Orcs, ferret hunters and warriors, always on the lookout for new hunting grounds. For centuries now, they have been the scourge of the settled north. Leave the little bear alone. Aww. Dude, you guys have a spear and a bow. Why don't you shoot the thing? Idiots. Well, they're orcs. What do you expect? It is the year 15. Early. And this is the story of a sword. A sword lost for 100 years. And yet it may determine the curse of the future. Many years ago, the Torvalians pillaged the hated slave trader towns of the south. Their captain was Hetman Hugalik, feared all along the civilized coastlines. Someone's bashing with the axe against the door like, "Good man!" This guy has braids. They don't look good on a guy, even if they are like a Viking. It just doesn't work. Loaded with treasure, the dragon ships returned home. All except Hugelix. He went straight to the Cyclops Islands to have a sword forged he was bound to need on his next trip. A sword made by Cyclopses. That is pretty awesome. You don't get that nowadays. You don't get sword made by Cyclopses nowadays. That next journey led Hugalik to the Orcish lands, the only area of Arkania from where no one had ever returned to the war map. Why is he wielding an axe if he just made himself a sword? Idiot. Neither would he. In a night of terror, the orcs attacked his camp and massacred them all. Oh, come on, they're just 4 orcs. You're an experienced fighter. Should be no problem. And so Hugalik was laid to rest in a nameless place, somewhere on the Orcish steppes, buried by the last of his companions, none of which reached Thorval with their mind intact. The Orcish steppes fuck you up. They don't fool around, they screw you. But all that is history now. Only the present counts. A present where thousands of orcs are gathering on the steppes to bring death and destruction to the humans of Arkania. But this time, for once, they are not feuding amongst themselves. They are united under a great chief, pursuing no less than the utter conquest of Thorwald. Shit got real. Well, you do not know any of this when your ship reaches Thorwald Harbor. You are dreaming of adventure, of the big city, of hearing your names proclaimed by the skulls and bards in all corners of the world. Director, Hans-Jürgen Brendle. Executive producer, Guy Henkel. Storyboard, blah blah blah. Like I said, this is a German role-playing game. Well, based on a German role-playing game. I think it was even made in Germany. Das schwarze Auge, the black eye, is the pen and paper equivalent of this. Yes, there have been pen and papers others than Dungeons and Dragons in the past. Well, nowadays there are more than plenty. But still, yes, I'm not going to bother with this intro anymore. Escape. Okay, please select difficulty level. I usually played Novice, but I decided to play Advanced. And with the character generation, I spent 2 hours, 2 freaking hours gathering my party, creating my party, choosing who is responsible for what, and I had fun doing it. I'm not sure if I will record my RPG flame today or next weekend or whatever when I will upload this, but I am so horribly sick of role-playing games with no more numbers. I would make a role-playing game. I will get into detail of that in my RPG flame. But so far I will create a character just to show you the character generation, and yeah, but I won't use this character because I have a party assembled already. You can choose a name already, gender already, doesn't really matter. Change attributes is something for later. New hero resets everything. New attributes, roles new attributes. Select archetype. means you get the basics done. So the tool rolls for you, kinda. And that's okay if you're new or you don't have the manual or whatever. But I usually choose new attributes and try to create my own character. Courage, I think, are hit points. I'm not 100% sure. I have a guide for this. I bought this from GOG, of course. And there's a clue book, which I will use. I will tell you why. I created one of the parties. They suggested that it's pretty good for adventuring and stuff like that. And since I'm going to play the parties through all 3 games, I had to choose carefully to make a well-balanced party. But like I said, I will talk about this later. Strength is always very useful, because in this game you have a weight limit, so you cannot carry around like 5 plate mail armors in the back and be like, I can carry more. No, it's kind of like Dungeon Master, where you have a weight limit and you have a space limit, so you cannot carry as much as you want, but stuff like that. Now let's pick here randomly. I don't have the manual ready. Okay. These were the positive attributes. Wisdom, charisma, I guess these are self-explanatory. I don't know exactly the difference between dexterity and agility, because if I translate this is the same for me. I guess dexterity is more for bows, and agility is more for picking locks. Yeah, not sure. And then you have negative attributes. Superstition, if you are a believer of moose or like a black cat, or you don't walk below a ladder because folklore says this brings bad luck. That's superstition. The higher it's your superstition, the more affected you are by magic. So if you have very low superstition, which I try to get for all of my characters, you're pretty resistant, more resistant to magic, which is always a good thing. Acrophobia is the Aqua was spiders and stuff? Let me check the manual. Be right back. I have the manual here now. Oops. And this is pretty, well, let's say important. Do you see a black screen soon? Yeah. You need a manual. Without a manual, you can't really create characters properly. And yeah. Okay, acrophobia is the fear of heights. You have to do. That's what like I said, it's a role-playing game. You play a role. You don't play yourself. You don't play anything. You play a role. And if your character has acrophobia, then he is very afraid of climbing or walking over a bridge that's stretched over chasm and stuff like that. No? This is a role play. Sorry. And yeah, so if you have to climb over huge ledges or chasms or across a chasm or whatever, then the game checks if somebody has high acrophobia, makes a roll, and if it fails, he may panic or he may refuse to go over this, and you have to find a different way, or you have to find another way to get him across, which is kind of interesting. Claustrophobia, the fear of caves and stuff. Average, yeah, if you have high average, you may enter a room and there's a huge diamond somewhere, and the character with very high average, he may just, he's like, wow, there's a diamond, I run up to it and grab it, and I don't care for anything, and oh, there are 5 dragons in the corner, fuck, stuff like that. Necrophobia, the fear of undead, so if you're fighting against high-level undead monsters or skeletons or whatever, the character may flee or may have a harder chance to hit them because he's like, curiosity, I think there was something in this third one. You find You find the library and your mage